Hey folks, welcome back to the farm. We've been busy doing lots of stuff lately, but it's been crazy windy outside, so we haven't been doing a lot of videos, and I apologize for that if you've been waiting for another one to drop. But we've been getting a lot done with my buddy Steve here. Uh, so let me take you around and show you a little bit what we did, and I'm going to try to keep you out of the wind. Before we get going too far on showing you what we got going on, there's a giveaway at the end of this video, some really cool stuff. So stick around till the end and we'll go over the giveaway and how to win. So one of the things I did the other night was I put some stuff away in the shop because we had a lot of tools and stuff out from a lot of the projects we've been having. So got the shop tidied up a little bit, got everything kind of put in its place, swept the floor, had a lot of sawdust on the floor from woodwork and stuff. You can probably hear one of my projects I still need to do is I need to get up on this roof up here and screw some of this metal back down on the shop. It's probably been 50 years since those nails were driven in, and things are loosening up a bit, so we got to fix that someday. As you can see, we got some progress over here in the greenhouse. Our tomatoes are sprouting, and pretty soon when those start getting a little bit bigger, probably by Saturday or so, we're going to start up potting our tomatoes. Now, some people may see this greenhouse with all the shelving and all this stuff and say, well, you're not doing much this year. But once we start up potting these things, you figure there's probably 20 plants per cup. That's 220 plants right there that are going to be all in their own tray. And I think 3, 6, 9, 12, there's 18 cups fit in a tray. So we'll have, let's see, 11 of these trays in here on the shelves full of these cups. So it's going to be quite a few plants, even though right now it doesn't look like much. Sorry, it's still kind of windy out here in the greenhouse with the plastic blowing around. These are our extra roses that we transplanted, and we're potted those up just in case some of our ones that we transplanted into the ground do not make it. We have some backups, and then these ones in the tubs are soaking in some water to keep the roots nice and wet. We're going to be giving those plants away. Now yesterday we got lucky and there was no wind in the morning, so I was able to get a lot of my weed spray done. I weed sprayed below all the trees so the weeds don't grow underneath the trees, and we can run the lawnmower around those trees. Now on the other side I did a strip spray because we have our drip hose installed. Sooner or later there'll be a strip spray over here too, so we don't have to mow in between the trees, we just have to mow down either side. And we still haven't got the garden cleaned up yet. We're probably going to try to work on that here at the end of the week. We've been watering our grapes back here, even though they do get water off of the roof whenever we have a dew, or the other day when we got like an inch of snow, it all melted off and fell right along the shop here, and that waters those pretty good. But I do have the mulch to put in here around the grapevines, so we'll be doing that here pretty soon. The girls found the drip hose. They're getting a drink. Kelly got her predator mat put all the way around the chicken coop out here. It's basically 2 feet of hardware cloth that we staked down with metal landscape fabric stakes. And then she's going to do a flower bed around the outside, and all the mulch will hold all that down. She's just been cutting little holes to plant little plants in. She planted one of our roses on this side. She's got a clematis that she's going to put on this back side that she wants to grow up onto the chicken run. And then there's another rose on the other side over there. But that'll keep any predators from trying to dig under the fence. They'll hit that wire mat and they won't be able to go any further. Kelly moved her metal yard art flowers that I made for her a couple years ago. These are all out of cultivator wheels different types of cultivator wheels, and I make her flowers out of them. I got one more different cultivator wheel I have. I still need to make another flower. But believe it or not, this flower here and that white one on the end is made out of the same cultivator wheel. It's just cut differently. And the babies are still a little skittish. The older girls actually come out here into the yard and play around, but they get spooked fairly easily because they have really no life experience, obviously, because they're brand new chickens. So until they get used to noises and stuff like that, they'll probably hang around in the coop. But all 11 of the bigger girls were out here today running around. The young babies that are a week and a half behind these girls, or maybe 2 weeks behind these girls here, they've been hanging out in the coop a little bit, but they ventured out on occasion, but they're still a little more skittish than the older girls. Kelly's wanting to put one of our benches, our wooden double Adirondack benches here right up next to the coop for a little seating area here. These benches were made by our neighbor out when we lived in California, our neighbor Mark. He made us 2 of them. We've had them in storage over the winter, so we want to keep them as nice as long as we can. Put the other one up on the front porch. So let's go show you some stuff we did in the yard. Well, you can sure hear the wind in the shelter belt out there. But thank God for that shelter belt. Where I'm standing, I don't feel any wind at all, but you can sure hear it. So what we did is we had some pretty gnarly rose clusters out here, rose bushes, kind of in the middle of the yard. So it was kind of a headache to mow around them. There was 3 of them. There was one here along the driveway, a longer one. Then there was a patch out there. And then there was another patch out there just beyond the flagpole planter. So all of these roses have history, so we didn't want to just dig them up and get rid of them. This clump of roses here was actually propagated by a local guy in one of the park areas over here near our house. So it's kind of a rare rose. And then the other 2 clusters of roses, they were family roses from the families of the guy that used to live here, Leland. His side of the family had a rose that they named after their family, and his wife's side of the family had a rose that they named after her. So there's history in those roses. They used to take those roses, cuttings of them, whenever they moved, they would bring cuttings of those roses to their new house. So those roses have been around through many generations of people. So it's super, super cool history, and we love history. So what Kelly did is on every post along the front fence and then every middle between every post, she alternated the roses, and we transplanted a bunch of them along the fence. And you saw those ones that we had in the backyard. Just in case some of these don't make it, we do have backups. And the rose that was out there, we actually have growing in 2 more places, so we can still propagate that one. But these 2 clusters here are planted nowhere else on the property, so we got to make sure that we have some survivors of these roses here. And one of the family members actually came and got one of our roses yesterday when we dug it out, because the plant that he had actually died, and he thought he had lost that strain, and he was happy to get it back. He said his mother was going to be so happy that they have another one of those roses. So we were glad that he came and got one. And then Kelly's been wanting to take this evergreen tree out here. I pruned it up pretty tall. I'm going to come back and cut that limb off when I have my big chainsaw out, because I had my pole saw, and my pole saw, once that limb gets down closer to the tree, it was a lot bigger, and my pole saw wouldn't cut it. So I cut all the little ones I could with a pole saw, and then we put on the brush crusher and hauled all the brush out of the front yard. There was quite a bit of brush, so we did that this morning too. started another burn pile out back. But that's just about what we got done. I pulled the lawnmower out, got it ready for Kelly, because as the grass starts greening up, it's going to need to be mowed pretty soon. Plus, I think she wants to run through and pick up all the trash out of the yard with the lawnmower, suck it up into the lawnmower. But we still got to pick up sticks. That won't take too long. So let's get back in the house and get out of this wind. We stopped in here in the Benzebo. We still got to get the decorative rock to put in down here in these slots for our French drain around the outside. But that won't take very long. You can see our chives are coming back out in our herb bucket out here. This is one of those self-wicking buckets that we make. Works really nice. And pretty soon it's gonna be tequila time. You gotta ring that bell anytime we're doing shots. That's an old scuba tank made into a bell. Now this little cage right here is a clematis, and another one of those roses that we were talking about with all the history. Once everything gets established, we're going to be taking out this clematis and this rose because it's too hard to mow around with all of that. Got our wind chime tree over there, which is an old clothesline hanger, but it'll be a lot easier to mow the yard without that there. So we have another clematis, like I told you, we're going to plant, and then when we dig this rose up, we'll be sure to pot some up and make sure everybody in the family has one when we dig those up. Kelly's hostas are coming back up here in the flower bed. He's happy to see those. And then right there by the hydrant, we got the naked ladies coming up. They're a bulb. I forget what they look like. I think it's all green, and then there's like a bare shoot that comes up with a little tiny flower up on top. That's what they call them, naked ladies. But I think Kelly's going to dig those up and sell those here in town to whoever wants them. All right, folks, we're back inside. We got out of the wind. So let's talk about this giveaway we want to do. We have these 3 vintage gardening books. These books have served me well over the years. They're fantastic books. They're perfect for somebody that wants to start gardening. So I want to pay these forward and give them to somebody that wants to start gardening or doesn't know a lot about gardening. This one here, Dick Raymond, it's on the wide row method of gardening. And if you're doing like a patio garden or limited square foot gardening, this is a fantastic book. And then you have the Victory Garden. I used to watch that show on PBS years ago. Really good show. But if you want to win one of these books, what you got to do is you got to be a subscriber first. It says I'm only going to reward my subscribers. And then you need to like and share this video, and then comment on the video. Tell me why you would like one of these books. There's going to be 3 winners. And at the end of the month, right around May 15th, I will go through the comments in this video, and whoever has the most likes on their comment stating why you want one of these individual books will get that book. When we figure out who those winners are, we will comment on this video back to you. We'll exchange your contact info, and we'll get those books out to you as soon as we figure it out. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm going to post a few videos up here for your viewing enjoyment here at the end of the video. So we love you guys. Come back and see us here on Markelly Farm.